Are we on?
Hello,
good? Everyone. I'm the EFC, and this is Blue Lions TV. And today I'm bringing you a Chelsea talk. I'm bringing a special guest, Marco Messina from Italian Football TV. And yes, he probably does have the best smile on YouTube. Marco, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, you're too kind. Thank you for having me. I'm from Italian Football TV. We cover all of Italians abroad, Italians and Serie A players that might be going to Chelsea. I know you might be excited, so I'm excited to hear what you want to ask me and to see if anyone goes to Chelsea.
Perfect. You guys, I recommend that you, in the description below, is going to be a link to the channel. Definitely subscribe. Stay tuned. They cover everything regarding Serie A. Honestly, the channel needs to have more subscribers. You know, the production is ridiculous. The content covers literally everything. And Serie A is a league on the rise now. I mean, if you look at the top 4 or the top 5 clubs now, when you compare it to what's happening in England, what's happening in La Liga, what's happening in France and Germany, there's one club at the top right now, and Serie A is still a fight for the title. So it's very entertaining. So you guys definitely subscribe to them and, you know, really find out everything in regards to Serie A. And one quick thing, if anyone wants to obviously ask us a question, super chats only, obviously that's to keep the flow of the live stream going. But you guys, in today's live stream, we're going to be talking about some players linked from Roma. That's Emerson Palmieri and Edin Dzeko. And to end things off, we're going to be talking about Allegri. Reports are coming out. Actually, not reports. You guys, you watch the channel. We all know that Conte will be leaving at the end of the season. Allegri is supposedly a target for Chelsea if Conte does leave. But yeah, I'm not too sure about that. But we've got Marco here to really help us and really understand what's happening. But starting with the first talk, and that's in regards to Emerson Palmieri. Now, Marco, what can you tell us about Palmieri? Were you surprised by the links? Do you think this is a great signing? Is this like another Zappacosta? Like, who is he?
Well, I'm super surprised from a Roma perspective because let me give you some context. He's playing for the Italian national. He's Brazilian-Italian, but he chose Italy to play for. He's 23 years old. He's such a good left back. Like, he is so good. He's not like Zappacosta, where I remember I was on your channel. You had me. And I told you, like, he's just going to do the job. He's going to be solid. He's going to work hard. Emerson Palmieri has the possibility to become, like, a huge, like, amazing player. And I love the way he plays. He started off as that player that I constantly criticized because he tried to overdo it. And, you know, he's fast. He's tricky a little bit. But he became so good for Roma. And it makes no sense to me why Roma would want to sell an Italian player. And they have some problems with their books. He does have some injury problems, so he's coming back from injury. And that's the only thing. But he's 23 years old. And for an Italian club, do you have an Italian player that you finally have a good fullback? Because we haven't had many good fullbacks in a long time. It's crazy. But for you guys and for a Chelsea fan, I would love this because he's got the possibility to really do something amazing. And I don't know how important. I mean, you know, the English teams obviously have a lot more money than the Italian teams have. So it's easier to spend wisely. And I know Chelsea haven't really spent too much. But he's an exciting player.
Oh, well, that's really exciting. I mean, since we've been linked with him, I've been doing, you know, a lot of research on who he is exactly. And at first, I was a bit skeptical. You know, what I like to do, I'm really geeky. Obviously, I like to go to like the AS Roma Reddit page to try and engage from the fans, their thoughts on him. Some people are of the belief that with Kolarov's form in Serie A this year, he's been absolutely amazing. They're not necessarily, I mean, a few of them aren't necessarily too disappointed that Palmieri might be leaving to Chelsea because of Kolarov's form. But of course, they could be really short-sighted because Kolarov is like 32 years old. Exactly. He's not going to be playing there for many years. I know that the season Palmieri had last year was absolutely amazing before he got that unfortunate injury. And just seeing the ability of this guy, this is the type of profile of fullback. I mean, this is why I love my South American fullbacks. I'll always go for them. The ability on the ball, the dribbling style as well. He attacks people. He runs at people with pace. And this is the type of profile of left wing back that we need at the club.
100%. I think that you made a good point because Roma fans don't seem to be too unhappy about this move, which is crazy to me. I mean, you know, I'm definitely biased in this situation because I'm a Serie A fan and I'd like to keep, you know, the players in our league, especially the Italians. So I would never want to lose him. And yeah, you're right. Kolarov is doing good. But like you said, he's 30-something years old. You want to build for the future. You don't want to sell such a good player. But maybe they think, you know, right now the money's more important. They already have a left back in the position.
Yeah.
Maybe it's worth it to just sell. And maybe Conte's pushing for him because, like you said, he had a fantastic season last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And if anything, because no player is perfect, what are areas in Emerson Palmieri's game that he could actually improve in and get better at?
Well, actually, when he went to Roma, I was a huge critic on him. And, you know, I got bashed on our channel because I was wrong, because he developed into a really good player. At first, he was super nervous on the ball. You know, like he didn't exactly understand where to go, when to let go of the ball, the positioning. You know, he jumped. I don't remember where he was before. I can't remember where he was before he went to Roma.
When he went to Santos, right? Did he come straight from Santos, or was he at another Serie A? Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, something like that, a smaller club. And you make that jump to Roma, it's always going to be hard. So he definitely took time to adapt. So I won't put that on him right now as a quality, you know, one of the weaknesses.
Yeah.
You know, he got a big injury. You know, I think he had an ACL tear. And, you know, sometimes you see those coming back again and again and again. So I don't know. I don't know about his injury. I don't know if that's something that needs to be worried about in the future. That's the only concern that I would have, because he's a really good player.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing, because I mean, it has been pretty funny in regards to our transfer activity this season, especially because we've signed so many players who have literally just returned from injury. And it's quite funny because Conte is a guy where he constantly makes comments about players who are returning from injury at Chelsea. And, you know, he's really patient with them. So he doesn't introduce them straight back into the team. I mean, we saw glimpses of that last year when Kurt Zouma just came back. Conte didn't put him straight back in the team. He was of the belief that he needs a season away to, you know, regain his ability or something. I'm not too sure. And he's done the same thing with Baba. Baba has just returned from injury. He's getting his fitness back. It looks like he's going to be going to Schalke on loan for the season, but he's going to be playing consistently. I'm just wondering, why is Conte so comfortable with just, you know, with signing a player who's only just returned back from injury? I checked the stats. He's only played 60 minutes as a sub so far this season. Why is he comfortable to entrust this guy who isn't used to the league, isn't used to the teammates around him? Do you think he's just that good that he's worth taking that risk on?
I think he has a lot of upside, because if you get it right, you're going to get it right. And, you know, if he does become that player, I know you guys have wanted Alexandro in the past a lot, and that's been so hard to materialize, just because Alexandro is at that level where he's been performing in Champions League games consistently. And nowadays they want 50, 60, 70 million for a left fullback. And Juventus also don't need to sell. So it's always you know, they have that negotiation tactic. So maybe this is one of those things where it's like, let's get the Alexandro before he becomes Alexandro, just as an example.
So of course you just made that point. Let's get Alexandro before he becomes Alexandro. Do you think that Palmieri can get to the same level, or could he be a different level?
Absolutely. They really remind me of each other a lot. And granted, this is the Emerson Palmieri from last season, because like you said, you know, he came back from injury. He hasn't been playing much this season, but he has those similar qualities where he's able to be this man. He goes up a lot. He's 23 years old. And I think he turns 24 in like August. So you got plenty of time. And like I said, you have the upside with this guy. If he does it, if he has the mentality, if he listens, if he's trained, you know, he does what he's supposed to. Disciplined is the word I was looking for. If he's disciplined, you have all the upside to become the Alexandro or the next best left back, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting because again, we have this guy called Baba at Chelsea. I do kind of think they are a bit similar from what I've been seeing, you know, comparing their playing styles. And even that point you made in regards to Emerson before, when you first saw him, you thought that he wasn't playing with any confidence. He was looking a bit lost on the pitch. That's exactly the same as this guy called Baba that we have at the club at this moment. But you know, I like both these players. I've been seeing a lot more of Emerson throughout the day. I don't know how many clips and videos, and you know, I even watched a Roma game as well from last year. I mean, he looks like the real. He does look like the real deal. I mean, the attributes, this is dribbling style that I love. That dynamism where, you know, similar to Sandro, where, you know, they don't need that support to get to the byline. They can skip past the man or two themselves. And I think that's those types of players, you know, like obviously seeing your Marcelos, Jordi Albas, whatever, they can help transform your attack when you play. And it just depends on how quickly he'll get back to fitness, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I want to ask one more thing, and this is going to link into the next question. Another Roma player I've been linked with. What is happening at Roma at this moment in time? Why are they so adamant? I mean, they're still in the, they're still in Europe. I was going to say the Champions League. Oh yeah, they are in the Champions League. What's wrong with me? They're in the Champions League. Why are they selling players that could really help them now? What's happening at Roma? There's talks of Nainggolan moving to China even.
Dude, this is the problem I'm having right now. This is the debate I'm having with everyone. And, my partner, Michael, on the channel, he's also pushing back on me where he doesn't agree with the Emerson Palmieri, but he does agree with the Dzeko leaving. And to me, it's ridiculous. Roma in the Champions League, they finally got that 1 year where it's like, oh, my God, Roma can do something. And they're selling their best players. Dzeko scored how many goals? 39 goals, I think he scored in all competitions last season.
Crazy.
It's ridiculous for Roma to do this. They say because of UEFA, they have to balance some of the books and they need to sell some players. And the rumor is that if they sell Emerson Palmieri and Dzeko, they can keep Nainggolan and not have to sell him. Either way, stupid. Absolutely stupid.
Haven't there been issues in regards to discipline with Nainggolan and Roma?
Yeah, it's been bad. It's been a very bad situation. It was all like just some backstory if anyone doesn't know. Nainggolan on New Year's Eve, going into New Year's, he did a live stream, and which wasn't a good idea, man. And I actually caught the live stream like while he was doing it.
Oh, really? Was it on Periscope?
It was on Instagram Live.
Instagram Live, okay.
And I was like, yo, this guy what is he doing? Because he was drinking, he was drunk.
Oh, really?
He was smoking and nonstop cursing, and he was setting off fireworks. He was doing crazy shit. And I was like, yo, listen, you could do that stuff. Like, just don't do it on Instagram Live.
Yeah, of course.
So he got a big trouble for that. He was banned for a game. They put him on the sidelines. Roma ended up not doing good that game. So fans were blaming Nainggolan.
Of course.
Awkward situation.
That seems really crazy because it's like he's got like a kid, he's got a family and stuff, and he's like nearly 30. So why would he be? But I guess if you're the type of guy that has that type of hairstyle and you got tattoos all over you, then really, is it a surprise? Really, let's be serious now. But Edin Dzeko. Now reports are kind of conflicted at this moment in time. Dzeko's agents come out to state that Dzeko would prefer to stay in Rome. I mean, I can't blame him. It is a beautiful city, and he is getting older now. He's comfortable in his environment. He's found the right club after how many years? Do you think there's a possibility that he might be leaving?
Yeah, like you said, his agent did say that he wants to stay at Roma. And on the contrary, Emerson Palmieri's agent did say it would be a dream to work with Conte. And, there's always that thing with agents, the strategy that they use. Some come out straight and say that they want it. Some, they play that, the tough guy kind of look. So, I don't know. To me, it makes no sense for Roma to sell Dzeko. It makes no sense for Dzeko to leave Roma. Besides the fact that they paid, I think, 14 million for him. And they could sell him for a profit at 32 years old. But still, either way, Sheik, who is the backup for Roma, is not there yet. He's not ready to become the center forward.
He's been injured for so long too throughout this season already.
Yeah, and he's young. He's a kid. He made the big jump. There's a lot of pressure on him, and you're gonna throw him with no backup. And Dzeko, listen, the criticism with Dzeko is that he has 11 goals this season, which is very good. It is very good. I think the top goal scorer in Italy is Immobile with 15 or 16, so it's good. Dzeko's he's been on a little bit of a goal scoring drought of late, so he's been under some criticism. But Dzeko's that type of striker. He doesn't score for a few games, and then he'll bag in like 4 one game, and he scores a lot against the smaller teams, which I don't hold against him because you need to beat the smaller teams to get the title, which is what Chelsea need, right? So I don't think it's a bad thing. We should look at I don't want to bring this up. I'm sorry. I know I'm on a Chelsea channel, but the goal against Chelsea was brilliant.
World class. I was at the game too, and I saw it. I just couldn't believe what I saw.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was crazy. But again, that point you're making earlier about the negotiation tactics, completely spot on. And you guys in the live stream, you've got to think about it like this. Now, it's well known that when you're 30 years old, the club only give you a 1-year contract. Now, Chelsea are approaching Dzeko, who's past his 30s. His agent obviously wants to secure the best deal for his client and for himself. So you are going to play hardball in this situation. You don't want Chelsea. You don't want to let Chelsea think they can offer anything, and you're gonna not act in your client's best interest. So it makes sense that they're gonna try play a little bit still. It's like seeing that pretty girl. You know what I mean? She's not easy. You got to graph her. You got to take your time. You got to be patient, because she's worth it. And I think that's exactly that's the same approach that Dzeko and his agent are going to use for Chelsea. But if anything, you made that point about obviously his recent form hasn't scored that much recently. But as a team, Roma haven't been performing as well, regardless, have they? So again, I'm not going to hold it against him that much. His performances against us in the Champions League, I mean, he was by far a standout player. His hold-up play, his ability to drop deep, link up the play. That's the first touch too, great control. At times, he was bullying Christensen. Christensen did find it hard against him, and that world-class goal as well. I think this is the type of striker that would actually suit the system, because that's the type of striker Conte wants. He had them before, and if you're your Llorentes, those technical target men that are good on the ball. So I think that's going to be a good move. And I think that he could actually fight for a first team spot against Morata. If you were to ask me, actually, who do you think is a better player, Dzeko or Morata?
Morata.
You think Morata?
Oh. I know maybe the stats will say Dzeko, and I haven't seen Morata play recently in the Premier League. So I'm sure
maybe it's a good thing you haven't,
Has he been that bad?
He's we've, like we were talking about before, we know that Morata is a confidence player.
Yeah.
And that's something he's really been struggling with. There's been the Arsenal game in particular, 3 times was through on goal, just with him and the goalkeeper mess up every single opportunity. That's very rare for that to happen in a Premier League game. And to get 3 chances and to not bury one of them, a lot of Chelsea fans started to get a little bit frustrated with him. But I mean, I always knew with him, he's not going to be world class until he's like 27. He needs like another 2 years. It's his first time playing consistently as a number 1 striker. So, I like what he does on the ball. Good first touch, runs at people. I think Conte could make it a bit easier for him in terms of the system. I think that, to constantly have to, I think one thing people forget too is that he's in the Premier League, a lot of physical defending. He's learning how to, how much he can get away with in terms of, physicality, what kind of, dives can he make, for example, to fool the referee, all that type of stuff. It takes players like that a while to get used to the system, but he is finding it difficult at times due to being isolated against 2 defenders too often. But I definitely think maybe if he had decent competition, that could really help, give him that fire that he needs. But hopefully maybe Conte might even decide to use Dzeko and Morata, together at the same time, hopefully. But yeah, and just to end this live stream, speaking of the final, why did I say it like that? We're going to talk about Allegri. Now, reports are coming out that Conte will be leaving. I mean, he is definitely leaving. There's no debate about that. Now, I get told certain things in regards to who's on the list in terms of managers that the club are looking at. I'll be honest, I haven't heard anything about Allegri, but then I know that I'm not going to hear every single thing. I'm lucky to hear that some of the things that I do hear. But in regards to Allegri and Conte, you've seen both the managers. How would you compare both? Would you say, who do you think did a better job at Juventus, Allegri or Conte?
It's super funny, first of all, that Juventus and Chelsea are following in very similar paths. Conte came in at Juve, he revamped the team, he made them like really great from terrible finish to winning. He did the same thing at Chelsea in the first year. It's super sad, first of all, to see what's happening with Conte at Chelsea. And I haven't lost faith. I honestly don't think anything is over yet. And I know I'm crazy, and I know it's crazy even because I'm supporting Chelsea, obviously. And I think that Conte could pull something out of his hat, and he still needs a little bit of help. But in regards to your question, who's better, Conte or Allegri? It's so hard. It's so hard because there's so many variables. There's so many factors. They're both good at different things. Conte is amazing, and I'm going to say best in the world at taking a team that is broken and making them have confidence and win again. I don't think there's a better coach in the world that's able to do it the way Conte is with as little resources as Conte has. Having said that, though, and Allegri, when he took over for Conte, he took Juventus to a different level.
Exactly.
He kept almost the same system that Conte had, but the players played with a lot of tranquility. They were very calm. They understood that Conte is a very work. Let's go now. Push harder, work harder. Allegri's more of the players know what to do. Let's make sure everyone's in the right place. If we need to change something, it's okay. You don't have to go crazy. Let's just be smart with it. The game is 90 minutes. We have time. They're very different. And some players adapt to it and some players don't. But he did take Juventus. Allegri took Juventus to 2 Champions League finals. First one was definitely with Conte's team. Let's just say that. And to use Conte's words, winning is hard, but to continue winning is even harder. And Allegri did just that. He brought in the calmness that was needed at Juventus, and he made them even better and took them. Conte took from A to B. Allegri took from B to C. Exactly.
And that's what you said at the end, that closing comment, you know, A to B, B to C. I'm hearing that quite a lot. You know, Allegri's the type of guy that can take you to a different level. And Conte's the type of guy that can take you out from, you know, from the bottom. But then there's only limits. There's like limits you can reach with Conte. But I wanted to ask, in terms of the footballing style, would you say that the style was similar, or would you say one of the managers was more entertaining compared to the other? Like who gets more goals, but Conte or Allegri?
100% Conte's football is more exciting. For me, 100% Conte's football is more exciting. Whenever Conte's team plays, they're dying on the field. They're passionate. They're going for a 90th minute, but to an extent. And I think this is still not fair for me to say against Conte, just because I still think he's still a fairly new manager, considering how many managers there are and how many years they've been at the top level and been coaching. You know, so he still has stuff to learn. But with Allegri, it seems like the team again has more calmness. Like they're okay with keeping a game at a certain spot, and they never get worried that they're not going to get back into it. And it seems, and Allegri has this belief, which has been very prominent this season and even last year with Juve, because the last year and this year for Juve didn't start out well, right? And Allegri kept saying, don't criticize the team on how they're playing right now. The season, a football season, is from August to January is one season. And then from February to May is a second season. He says from August to January, all you need to do is to win and be in the competition for first place. That's it. Doesn't matter how you play. From February to May is where you need to start playing good and start winning. Both of those two things. So Allegri was very good at not draining the players. They stayed in a very good calmness. He was good with depth. He was good at seeing who needs to go in where. But Allegri's football is definitely different than Conte's.
Okay, so you said it's different in terms of the tranquility. That's something that I'm understanding. But okay, if from a style aspect, you know, in terms of you know, what was nicer on the eye, and I know you prefer Conte's football because of the, you know, the energy. You like seeing players giving their all on the pitch. But
personally,
but from a style aspect, who would you say gets the teams playing with a bit more, you know, flair?
Well, Allegri's system is all about giving players freedom. So, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. We'll take this Juventus team who play with, we'll say, Cuadrado on the right, Dybala in the middle, Mandzukic on the left, and then Higuain up front. Under Conte, it would be like when Marquinhos gets the ball in center midfield, Dybala, you need to be at this point in the field, right here, directly here, not 5 feet to the left, 5 feet to the right, directly here. You get the ball. When Dybala, you get the ball, Mandzukic, you got to go there. Cuadrado, you got to go there. Higuain, you got to come. With Allegri, it's different. Allegri says, once you get into the final third of the field, I want Mandzukic, Dybala, Cuadrado, and Higuain. They know what to do. They're champions. Give them some freedom to move around. It's not as precise. Conte is very precise. Allegri, let the players do the job. They know what to do when they get in that area. Dybala, if you want to go over here, Cuadrado, you can move. Mandzukic, you can move. Under Conte, it's not like that.
You're definitely right. And that's something we've definitely been struggling with, because there's been not I say a criticism I've had with Conte. I mean, the main issue is our attacking build-up play. You know, a lot of times everyone knows how we're going to try to break down a team. You know, you're at Juventus too. You know, play those direct balls through the middle to the 2 guys up front who play very close to each other, and then they have the ball. the wing backs come support the play, and it's all about, you know, bypassing the midfield and trying to create those, you know, 1v1 chances, no matter if you create one of them in a game or 3 or 4. But, you know, definitely this season, teams have started to work out how to play against us. We are just a bit too rigid in the final third. And this is why recently we haven't won a game in 90 minutes, you know, for the past 5 games now. You know, against Norwich City, this is a team that were 13th. And it was actually kind of shocking. And to me, it kind of really cemented everything because, you know, Norwich City are a team in the Championship League below. They're 13th in the league. They've lost more games than they've won this season. And, you know, we had to play them twice because we drew the first game against them and we had to play the replay just a few days ago. And their manager came out saying that I knew that once I matched their system, so we used 3-4-3, they used 3-4-3. Once I did that, I knew that we'd have a very good chance of getting a result. And he kept stating how disappointed he was that they didn't get a result in that game. And when I'm hearing an average team in the Championship feeling confident and unhappy that they didn't win the game against us, if anything, I'm telling you that maybe managers are a bit too, you know, they seem very comfortable when they're facing Conte recently, it seems. You know, with Conte, another issue too I'm having is that his in-game management, he's just not flexible. He doesn't make many brave decisions. He won't change the course of a game. He likes to keep the formation he starts with, you know, 75-80% of the times he likes to finish the game with that same formation. But I don't know. I look at some of the things Allegri's done. For example, you know, last season using Mandzukic as like a inside forward. That was very creative. That's very innovative. Trying to, you know, finding new solutions with the players he has already. And I think with Conte, he's not the type of manager that will try and find a solution with the players that he has in his squads already.
100%. I mean, Conte was criticized at Juventus for that same thing. He's very believed. He believes 1,000,000% in the players that are on the field. Yeah. You know, he'll die for those guys, exactly. And yeah, it definitely comes with some criticism. And I would say, I'd like to add for Allegri, he does say, and he said in the past, that he's learning English because one day he would love to coach in the Premier League. Yeah. So that's an important thing to say. And there have been rumors that, you know, Allegri would be leaving Juventus at the end of the season, wouldn't be leaving. Who knows? Because, you know, one day it's this happening, the next day he's not going, he's staying. Either way, the one thing I would say, in my opinion, and I know that everyone's entitled to their opinion, Chelsea fans, and you guys definitely know a lot more about me. One thing that I would say, just to keep in mind, I think that Conte, and I'm biased. I will say again, I'm biased. I'm Italian. I love Conte.
Yeah.
100% biased, 100%. I would say, though, what Conte did last season for Chelsea still is remarkable. In compared to what every other team has tried to do in the Premier League and has spent and constantly spent over many, many, many years. And Chelsea took a very similar team from what was there the year before and made those guys into a winning side that won the Premier League in his first season in the league, speaking a different language, and all these factors.
Yeah.
And it's a problem I have with modern football in general, that I feel like the coach is often the scapegoat where sometimes not everything's going to go your way. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes, and it's normal to make mistakes, but you got to bet on the winners, and you got to bet on the guys who have been with you for a long time. Yeah. So what I would say is it's hard to do. I would say a little bit more patience is needed because things could change really quick. And while all seems lost right now, and maybe it is, yeah, I still think that a guy like Conte is not going to, I mean, he sometimes he does have that reputation to quit on you. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've just been feeling that a little bit lately, and I get it because, you know, Man City are killing it, and they really are. They also spent a lot of money, and they didn't win last year. You know, everyone was talking about Pep Guardiola after those 10 games that he won in a row, and Conte was quiet. Chelsea were quiet, and then out of nowhere they were just getting the job done. Wasn't beautiful, but getting the job done. Yeah. So I'm still super hopeful that hopefully something happens, some kind of miracle happens, and Chelsea get back on it.
Exactly. You know, I'll be honest with Conte. You know, I respect him as a manager. I respect him as a man. Philosophically, his idea on football, I don't necessarily agree with. I think, you know, a few Chelsea fans as well, we've seen this similar type of style a lot at the club. I think a lot of us are coming to this natural conclusion where it's you know, we don't want to keep seeing the same style. I don't know. I couldn't agree with your last point when you were saying that obviously the squad he won the league with. I mean, he did add Kante, David Luiz, and Marcus Alonso, and you know the difference between him being at Chelsea and Juventus was that at Chelsea when he couldn't get Nainggolan or Koulibaly, he brings in Kante and he gets David Luiz. If he was at Juventus, if he's not getting target A, there's no B, there's no C. That's it. So I can understand his frustrations more at that point. You know, he wants to try to take the team to another level, trying to bring in Juan Cuadrado. Juventus board aren't really, you know, supporting him financially like that. But I don't know. Sometimes I think this is where managers need to come up with creative solutions as well. Now, of course, again, Conte has been unlucky not getting targets he wants. I really think the main ones really were, you know, your Alexandros, Tolisso, and Llorente. They're the three main ones that he couldn't bring in. A lot of other targets that he was looking into, like your Oxlade-Chamberlains and stuff, I don't necessarily feel they were too great for the squad entirely just yet. And I mean, of course, I understand the frustration with the manager. Every manager is a slave to their philosophy. Every manager wishes that they had 100% backing because, you know, the reality is if a coach does have 100% backing, you know, you're going to get an extra 10, 25% in, you know, in your success and, you know, your football, your squad, etc. A few managers get lucky where, you know, they have been able to get 100% control, you know, like Sir Alex Ferguson, Pep Guardiola as an example. But again, that's a very, very rare thing. So, you know, I think managers like him that constantly want to try and get 100% control really is something that you got to work towards. I mean, if anything, I can understand Conte's frustrations more at Juventus because one of them 3 leagues in a row. So you'd think that by then you have a bit more influence in terms of decision making and bringing in what you need. But I don't know. I just think that it's not necessarily his fault at Chelsea because, again, Chelsea, we have a habit of going for CV managers without really caring how they win things in the first place. So, you know, in a way, we never, ever support any of the managers we bring in. I mean, I'll give you an example. Remember Andre Villas-Boas?
Yeah.
We signed this guy. This is the record amount of money in Europe for buying a manager. £15.3 million. I mean, that is a crazy amount of money for a manager. And then he comes in, we tell him to do the impossible. Try and, you know, reduce the game time of the older players to try and push them away, bring in the new generation. But, we're not going to give you any money at all whatsoever. So they wasted wasted ridiculous amounts of money. And again, I'm not even surprised by Andre Villas-Boas. He doesn't work for a year because that forces Chelsea to have to pay him out. But Chelsea actually changed things. Now, there were reports coming out that Conte, from what I've been told as well too, and also reports in papers that he was very, very close to leaving in the summer. But there's this clause in his contract that Chelsea have put in now recently for any new managers that come in, where, you know, if you do obviously force a move away, I think you get like a penalty and you won't get any, you know, payment options as well. So in a way, that was what kind of kept Conte at the club because he was very close to leaving and probably going to, you know, a different job abroad or even returning back to Serie A. But it kind of looks like him and the board have reached a natural conclusion so far. And it could be the end of him this season. But, I mean, again, like I said, I don't necessarily agree with his management style as much, but I mean, I respect the guy as a man. You know, the passion as well. Obviously, any manager that wins anything for the club always deserves respect. I mean, even though Mourinho left in bad terms, and I criticize him a lot more than Conte, I still have respect for the guy for what he's done for the club. But okay, the final question. So, if Conte left, you think Allegri is the perfect replacement for him?
I mean, I don't know about perfect. I'm sure. I don't know who else. What other coaches are there that you guys are talking about?
Well, there's a few. I've been told Jardim is one from Monaco. He seems to fit the criteria a lot because, you know, he's kind of like an Ancelotti, you know, very flexible with the ball, isn't very demanding. And I think maybe that type of personality could probably do better at Chelsea without having that added stress of thinking, oh, the board aren't backing me for what I want. Now, Laurent Blanc's been linked as well. Other managers, I think they're the 2 main ones I can think on the top of my head that the club are looking into.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the other managers as well, as well as I do of Allegri and Conte. So I shouldn't speak about them or say what they are. I would just say that I think that, you know, in football you need a plan. You need a plan, and you need to build off a few years project. Like Milan right now are in very deep trouble because they're now building. They want short-term results. So whatever the conclusion is, if Conte, when he signed for Chelsea, and none of us know, said, listen, within 3 years we want to win the Premier League title, or we want to be competitive in Champions League, whatever it is, I think you need to stick to a plan. And maybe sometimes, in my opinion, Conte's overachieving has also been a bad thing for him, because, you know, he brings you the Premier League title when you weren't even expecting it to, and now the expectation next season is like, come on, we need to save our Premier League title. Whereas it's almost like Leicester City, not like Leicester City, but Leicester City with Ranieri. You know, first year it's like, just stay in the Premier League. Then he wins the title, and it's like, oh, you're hovering above relegation zone. What are you doing? It's like he overachieved, so it was a bad thing. And I would just say, be careful what we wish for, because it's going to be hard to get another great manager. I don't think the story is done yet. Conte's a fighter. He's going to fight to the last minute, and it very well could be that the title's over, Premier League title's over, everything's wrapped up. But I think he's going to fight. I think he's going to keep fighting, and I wouldn't lose hope yet. Keep backing him, and good luck, because I'm supporting you guys.
Exactly. Thanks. And I think in regards to Conte, I think we're really going to understand his future much more clearly when it comes to February, because we've got a lot of big games. We've got Barcelona, we're playing Man United, and I think Liverpool and other teams like that around that month. So it's going to be a crazy period, because we're playing all these big teams pretty close, like, game after game. Exactly. But anyway, Marco, man, thanks for coming on. Thanks for letting us know more about Emerson, more about Dzeko, more about why Roma are even selling these guys, and obviously, you know, the debate between Conte and Allegri. And was anything you want to shout out before we end the stream?
No, I mean, I'm shouting you guys out because you're doing great work. You know, the coverage to Chelsea fans. Thank you for having an Italian perspective also on the show. I really appreciate that, and for letting IFTV come on. So thank you guys. Exactly.
Maybe Allegri could be a decent replacement, because that means we can do more collaborations then. So
listen, Chelsea's the most Italian club in England, so I'm always with Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys, at the end of this video, I'm going to link in Italian Football TV's latest video. They give their perspective on Emerson and Roma as well, so definitely stay tuned. And in the description below, there'll be a link going to their channel, so I suggest you click on that and subscribe to them. But anyway, you guys, thank you for watching today's live stream. I hope you guys enjoy. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to bring you guys a few more videos tomorrow, the match review, and probably another video as well. So thank you guys for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Line TV. Signing out.